What's going on, guys? It's Chad. So it looks like we got some more teasers. Really though, instead of being a teaser, it's actually more like a straight up reveal of a map without showing what is going on. This guy's M40 is insane. I don't know what caliber he's using. He wall banged me through it. Look at the models. Oh, they're lucky. I was about to come in here with some new updated tactics. I was about to start throwing smoke grenades at these lines of sight. I don't give a fuck. So initially, Call of Duty tweeted out an image that was kind of scrambled around. It was obviously like some sort of map, a mini-map view of the map, so we could see like the very bare bones, you know, design of the map. They said like every 500 likes or so, they end up revealing it or whatever, just another piece. Everybody ended up giving them enough likes to get them to reveal the whole thing, and it's pretty much a map that we already know exists. I think this is a Grand Prix. Oh no, it's Museum. Getting 250 FPS apparently, but my refresh rate like on the server feels like it's like 30. Back on Modern Warfare. This is apparently the Museum map, not Grand Prix. This is Museum. And some people are trying to draw comparisons between like Raid, other maps and shit, but like I just genuinely don't see it. I understand Raid whenever you kind of like see like maybe a real symmetrical center. Like in Raid, it was a perfect rectangle, and from every direction, north, south, east, west, there was a way to get to that center point. But this doesn't look anything like that. This is a 3-lane map, just not exactly linear. Got the angle off on here. This is still technically the center lane. This is the other lane. This is the other lane. But monument thing that was over on Raid, for example, is way back here instead of up here where it would usually be, because it's got to be right next to this center, and it's just not the same. That map does give me more hope though. I was gonna go and try to play like regular core maps on this game, but I really don't want to. I don't want to do an entire video on educational map design and shit like that, because obviously I'm not, you know, a complete expert. I could just look at all the maps that I enjoyed and go, yeah, all of these maps have this certain thing in common. Now again, there are people out there that do also dislike 3-lane maps. I'm just a fan of 3-lane maps, so whenever I see 3-lane, I like it. Other people, when they see 3-lane, not a fan. But this honestly looks like a cool mixture in a sense. It's not exactly linear, which is good. It'll probably make it feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more unique from side to side. But it also won't create this dynamic where a part of the map is just insanely more powerful than all of the rest of the map. And your enjoyment of the game all depends on where your team is spawning, on top of a system that would actually make no sense for you the majority of the time, even if you were to operate by the ways that, you know, the typical spawn systems were supposed to work. The idea is that you capture a home flag and then you capture B and then you kill the shit out of them on their home flag over and over and over again. You don't breach their spawn. You simply just sit outside of that spawn and do not breach it or quote break the spawn trap. Just don't enter their spawn and just kill them whenever they try to leave it. That's the idea. There's also a similar thing with hardpoint. Depending on where the hardpoint is, both teams end up having designated spawns. Until you start having situations where you know where that designated spawn is, then you and your team stand on both spots where you're supposed to spawn. Where would the other team spawn? It would either spawn directly on top of you, where you would just kill them as they pop up right in front of you, or they have to end up spawning on the hard point or anywhere else where it's just kind of empty. There was so much empty space in the Modern Warfare 2019 maps that no matter what situation you were in, you almost never truly had a designated spawn, or your spawn was virtually unbreakable. But because the enemy team was also spawning so far back in their own spawn and not being rewarded for them pressing up through the center of the map and winning mid-map, you just constantly have this game where everybody is just constantly just running all the way back, just sprinting over and over and over again. It's just not fun. That's just not how COD is played. And people wonder why I've sat here and played, you know, Shipment for the past whatever amount of years. I could bear a lot of Cold War maps and a decent amount of the Vanguard maps as well. But again, the spawn logic and all that other shit is just, Do you guys like linear maps or like more, quote, realistic maps that necessarily don't need to make a lot of a sense in terms of, quote, balance, meaning fairness between teams? Just like in football, American football, for example, you can be in an advantageous position on the field, right? But every single play, everybody starts from a, quote, fair point. They do the play, the whistle happens, and then reset, and then do the play, and then whistle happens, and reset. They get that reset. Multiplayer and spawns are supposed to be balanced around that kind of, that reset mechanic. It's just always made sense that way. It's how so many people were able to, you know, go for montages and shit. Looking at it again, like, just from like a montage brain, so what I'm imagining here is that at the beginning of the game, whole team spawns here, maybe even directly behind this little wall here. This little wall only makes sense to be here if it serves to protect a spawn point. Otherwise, this is just like some weirdo camping spot. I think the start of the map, a vertical spawn. So one team will spawn here, and one team will spawn here. makes the most sense to me. But during a game where maybe a hard point's moving around or something weird happens with the spawn, one team could end up spawning here, and also the other team could end up spawning here. Also, we don't know if we're getting squad spawns and shit like that, so there's a lot of questions. But generally speaking, if we all spawn here, start the map, we all run through here, boom, come around the corner. And so if these guys are coming around here, running here, most engagements will end up happening right here immediately. Maybe some people will go around left, come up through this way. There's also debris here that's probably going to prevent people here from looking directly into spawn for like a spawn snipe or some shit. Like, I already see all of this. That's just one map too, and also with shipment being rumored. Oh, I hate you. I hate you.
Good kill.
Don't tell me good job.
Aww.
It's just really difficult to learn spawns when the spawns are inconsistent. So it ends up being like really frustrating not really understanding how or why you're dying from a certain area, especially when you're playing properly, or at least feel like you're playing properly, you know? Play how you want. It's just like, it's just really frustrating when you know the game is supposed to be going a certain way. In terms of like the design, even if I'm losing, at least it makes sense why I'm losing, right? Dude, Ghost is so OP. I'm using it now because in hardcore, all these people like run these things, and whenever you're not playing on shipment, it's whatever, because it's not like you can really hide, right? I'm not trying to surprise people, but on this map, everybody starts setting up and shit, and it's just, I just don't want to try to break this hold that they don't even need to fight hard to hang on to, because they spawn right on. It's so rewarding for them to sit in there that what's the point? When you take away all of the senses that people usually have to locate people, it starts getting really, really frustrating for people. So like, I get it. Oh, this guy's got the Dark Aether AX50. You don't see that many people with that camo. Could be an unlocked tool though. The shipment just kind of gets rid of most logic. I mean, shipment still has its own spawn logic, but these maps just make it so you just don't need to think. It's just gun. That's it. Engage, 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 engage. I like that. The more I look at these maps and the more I hear about these maps, the better. I've been hearing good things that they've, quote, learned their lesson from Modern Warfare 2019 and stuff. Or at least, you know, it's not like I'm gonna expect every single map to be, you know, exactly the, you know, 3-lane or whatever. I'm not expecting them all to be good. I'm not expecting them all to follow what I think is good. It's just, they did. So I just expect them to, you know, do it a little more, you know? I'm going to assume that we're not gonna have shipment right on launch. Maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks or so after. That's how it would usually go. The problem is that we, if you're going for, you know, all the camos and stuff in preparation for Warzone, and you're trying to get all of this done in 3 weeks, or like try to get as much done as possible, right? At least have some gold weapons, whatever. At least your favorite gold weapons, or whatever gold is on this game. We're the ones that are gonna have to play the game. We are the player base. So if it's not so fun, and it's long, and it's grueling, on bad maps, it's what's the point? This is where shipment comes in. It eliminates all of that frustration, and even though it's mind-numbing, even though there's no brain activity going on, there's no stress. There's nothing, so you can make more progress. So by removing all the extra stress, it makes all of the time just not really that bad. It's just kind of, it is what it is. Like, I would sit here and I would play, and then I would just have a stream or a show or something up over here, and I would literally passively play. There's nothing going on. There's the one part of my brain that like is controlling like where I think people are and stuff, but it's automatic. You don't gotta think about shit else. It takes the load off of your brain. That's it. That's the only reason. It takes the load off and removes most frustration. Some people get frustrated by dying a whole bunch of times, and I get that, but I passed that phase already. I do not care. Way too stressful. I'd rather have fun, more engaging over and over and over again, instead of having, you know, slow, methodical, whatever. It's just not me. For some other people, it is. Just not me, though. It didn't always work in the older Call of Duties. Those were the players that you would sit there and hit montage clips on that are sitting there trying to hide behind cover and sit in their spawn with like 5 other people. It was fun. Those were the people that you would clip, so you didn't want to play like them. I'm not saying just run around the map just straight at people and be angry when they kill you or something. There's a whole method to that madness, and basically like little sneaky flanks, and depending on how the audio works and all that other stuff, you can be really successful or unsuccessful. Map overview looks cool. We'll probably be playing this map in a couple days as a museum. A lot of people that have actually played this map have said that they really enjoyed playing museum, like pro players or creators and stuff, so we'll see.